You know, I've never actually beaten Minecraft. Well, not entirely on my own. I've beaten it before, but only with the help of commands in creative mode. I've never legitimately beaten the game. And after 12 years of owning it, I think it might be time to change that. I mean, I know the steps. Getting to the nether, killing blazes, gathering end pearls, finding the stronghold, and finally defeating the ender dragon. So, will you join me as I take on the challenge and finally beat this game once and for all? Alright, great. Let's go. I spawned in a savanna biome, my favorite, so that's already a win. As I looked around, I spotted a village in the distance. We'll get back to that later, but first it's time to punch my first tree and get things rolling. While I gather some wood, let me share my checklist for this playthrough. First up, I need to build a base. Gotta have a home, right? After that, I want to tackle an iron farm. I've never built one before, so this playthrough is all about trying new things. With that village nearby, it should be a breeze. Next on the list, looting a bastion. Yeah, I know. But the brutes are terrifying. But hey, this is about facing my fears, right? Don't judge me. Those brutes pack a punch. After that, I'm going to need an XP farm. I've built plenty of those in the past, and I know I'll need one to enchant all the awesome gear I plan on getting. Of course, with all the loot I'll be collecting, I'm going to need an item sorter. I'm going to have a ton of stuff and I want it organized. And then finally, I want to create a villager trading hub. I've always wanted to set one up, but I really never got around to it. The list might evolve as we go, but I think it's a solid start. Remember that village I mentioned earlier? Well, I couldn't resist heading over to see what I could scavenge, maybe some food and hopefully a bed to get me started. So I opened up the second chest I came across, and guess what I found inside? Jackpot! I'll be saving that little surprise for later. After a very successful looting spree, I left the village with a full inventory and a smile on my face. Now I'm ready to really get started on this adventure. Now it's time to start building my base, which is probably my favorite part of any playthrough, and I get to do it in my favorite biome, using my favorite wood. Things are off to a pretty good start. I spent quite a bit of time on this house because I wanted to experiment with different blocks and textures, but in the end though, I kept it simple with stripped acacia logs for the walls, and then for the roof, I went with a nice mix of cobblestone and deep slate. And just like that, it's done. So now, it's time to get to work on that leather farm I'm going to need for all my decorating. I originally just kind of tossed the cows into a hole in the ground for the meantime, but that's not going to work forever, so it's time for an upgrade. This leather farm is pretty straightforward. You just cram as many cows as you can into a 1x1 space, and when there's too many, let's just say they generously provide the leather. But when I returned to my house to grab more supplies, they were waiting for me. I didn't notice them at first, but as soon as I did, I knew exactly what had to be done. In the end, it was me who was victorious, and I was able to hang my banner of triumph. So, anyway, back to the cow farm. Getting all those cows into a 1x1 hole took way longer than expected. But I finally got them in there, and now it's just a waiting game until they start supplying that much needed leather. In the meantime, I'm off to make a cobblestone generator so I can start building the structure for my XP farm that's on my list. Plus, I'm sure I'll find plenty of other uses for all that cobblestone in future builds. And that's where I'll wrap up this episode. We got a ton done, so make sure you're around for the next one. Oh, and here's a good idea. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll know the exact moment the next episode drops. I'll catch you later.